This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
It's the Noon Report from Family Life, bringing a Christian worldview to what's happening in New York, Pennsylvania, across the country, and around the world. Weather with Kevin Williams, plus special features and reports with the Family Life News team. Now, here's what's happening.
Hello again. Thanks for checking in. President Trump meeting today at the White House with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky as efforts continue to wind down the war between Russia and Ukraine. Zelensky will not be alone. He's joined by the heads of NATO, the EU, as well as Britain, Germany, and France. White House peace envoy Steve Witkoff.
I think that we are a whole lot closer to eliminating death on the battlefield in Ukraine and Russia.
Today's high-stakes talks come just 3 days after the president met with Vladimir Putin in Alaska. The Russian rulers demanding control of eastern Ukraine as a prerequisite for peace. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
We're still a long ways off. I mean, we're not at the precipice of a peace agreement. We're not at the edge of one, but I do think progress was made.
Former Vice President Mike Pence says for peace to be achieved, Russia must be dealt with forcefully.
Putin only understands strength. So while the president and his diplomatic team engage in this reapproach with Putin, in my judgment, Putin's not going to stop until he's stopped.
Ukraine's leaders already pushing back against the idea of ceding any land to Russia. Volodymyr Zelensky says it's a non-starter to give up the territory that Russia seized illegally when it invaded Ukraine. Hurricane Aaron is no threat to the U.S. mainland, but this monster storm is still worth keeping an eye on. Forecaster Lonnie Quinn.
The closest it gets to our area is going to be around the North Carolina Outer Banks. It looks to be about a Category 2 on Thursday with 110 mile per hour winds, but it's lashing big waves out there. Anywhere from Florida up to Maine could see 8 to 12 foot waves around Cape Hatteras on Thursday, potential for 15 to 20. Consequently, a mandatory evacuation for Hatteras Island has been put into effect. By Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., everybody has to be off of that island.
Aaron will create dangerous rip currents over the next few days up and down the Atlantic seaboard. Correspondent Jesse Kirsch.
Aaron is expected to double in size by midweek. That means the wind field for this hurricane will expand dramatically, and we could be seeing tropical storm force winds across a 400-mile stretch.
Meteorologist Andrew Kozak at the National Hurricane Center.
We are not expecting a landfall here in the U.S., but we will see the effects. Beach erosion, waves of 12 to 15 feet for areas like Cape Hatteras, and that's why for the beach erosion and the coastal flooding possibilities, we have marine warnings from Georgia all the way up to Maine.
The massive hurricane could swamp some of the roads along North Carolina's Outer Banks. 10,000 striking flight attendants at Air Canada have ignored a return-to-work order. They walked off the job over the weekend over pay and scheduling issues. The job action is impacting about 130,000 passengers every day, and at the height of the busy summer travel season. Some Republican-led states are sending National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. to bolster the federal deployment there. Here's reporter Scott McFarland.
The governors of West Virginia, Ohio, and South Carolina say they're sending troops to join the military presence that's already on the ground here. The governor of West Virginia is sending 300 to 400 troops, he says, to help restore cleanliness and safety to the nation's capital. The governor of South Carolina says he wants to support the president's initiative, but will pull his troops back if there's a hurricane or some other form of emergency. For now, the Guard members are not carrying firearms, but that could change in the coming days. But as of now, the Guard members are also not making arrests.
Washington's Mayor Muriel Bowser opposes the federal troops in the nation's capital. She says the show of force on America's streets is, in her words, un-American. California continues its gerrymandering showdown with Texas. The escalating fight over congressional redistricting could determine which party controls the House in the 2026 midterms. Reporter Christina Coleman has the latest from Sacramento.
Governor Gavin Newsom is defending the effort in his state to combat this. He said, quote, "You got to fight fire with fire," and he called this the break in the glass moment for our democracy. week.
This week, California lawmakers are expected to propose new-look congressional maps, which must be approved by voters in a special election on November 4th. A third of pastors who leave the ministry today cite conflict with their church as the main reason why. Burnout is another contributing factor. A new Lifeway research poll shows 53% of pastors have seriously considered leaving the ministry altogether since COVID struck 5 years ago. The prolific British actor Terence Stamp has died. He was best known for his role as General Zod in the Superman movies.
I win! I always win. Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Stamp earned an Oscar nod for his big screen debut in the 1962 film Billy Budd. His movie career spanned 6 decades. Terence Stamp was 87. Still to come on the Noon Report for a Monday, paying more for power. New numbers on digital addiction. And Stacey Garrity is running for governor.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Williams. There's a different feel to the air today compared to recent days, a little feel of early fall. We'll have forecast details coming up in 10.
All right, Kevin, we'll see you then. Let's check the stories making news across New York and Pennsylvania. Big news out of the Keystone State today. Pennsylvania State Treasurer Stacey Garrity has officially jumped in to the race for governor. She took to X this morning to announce her campaign. Garrity is a native of Athens, Pennsylvania, and graduated from Sayre High School. The former Army officer says she'll work to bring more jobs to Pennsylvania and restore what she calls honesty and integrity to the governor's office. 3 firefighters were hurt last night, 20 people displaced by a massive fire in downtown Scranton. It happened on the south side of the city. Eyewitness Maria Blackwell telling ABC 27.
When we got here, they were all on fire, and it was going through the windows. It was everywhere. The smoke was black. It was insane.
The flames broke out just before 6 p.m. at the corner of Pittston Avenue and Orchard Street. That fire consumed a corner business and several connecting row homes, sending plumes of thick black smoke high into the sky.
The apartments on Pittston Ave, they started putting those fires out first. They were just, shooting the water through the window, telling everybody to back up. The smoke was really, really bad. So the cop was like, we don't want anybody inhaling it.
The Red Cross is assisting all those affected. The cause of that fire still under investigation. The Oneida City School District in Central New York is splitting the school day between high school and middle school students next month. High school students will be using the Otto Shortle Middle School during the first half of the school day. Middle schoolers will get it during the second half. The Oneida High School building is not available due to severe flood damage from a June storm. The school year begins September 4th. Upstate New York Congressman Josh Riley is slamming a decision by utility giant NYSEG to raise rates on customers as part of its Powering New York plan. That utility says it needs the extra revenue to expand and rebuild the aging power grid. Riley says NYSEG customers deserve to know where every penny of their utility bill is being spent.
We're talking about families who are already struggling to get by, and now they have to make a really tough choice. Do I keep the lights on? Do I keep food on the table? Imagine adding a massive NYSEG bill on top of that.
Meantime, State Assemblyman in New York is sponsoring legislation that would rein in utility rate increases. He's Democrat Angelo Santa Barbara, and he wants more state oversight of public utilities. This after National Grid recently announced that it's raising rates every year for the next 3 years. Those price spikes kick in September. They say good help is hard to find, and that definitely applies to health care in New York's rural counties. Family Life's Mark Webster explains.
Yeah, a state report looked at shortages of healthcare professionals in 16 rural counties and found them seriously lacking in several key areas, including primary care, pediatric, OBGYN, dentistry, and mental health. State Controller Thomas DiNapoli says in some cases, counties had no pediatricians or OBGYNs at all, and that the shortage of mental health professionals was the most critical of all. As for how to best fix the problem, the report says better healthcare transportation, increased telemedicine care, and more mobile clinics would be good places to start. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. New York residents are urged to check the state comptroller's website to see if they're due any money from inactive bank accounts, uncollected insurance policies, abandoned stocks, or uncashed checks. The comptroller has billions in unclaimed funds. The state says it returns $2 million every day to those that file a claim. It's your money, after all, and to find out if you're due money, just head to the state comptroller's unclaimed funds website, type in your name, and that'll let you know. Workers in New York and Pennsylvania still have not regained all the purchasing power that they lost during the pandemic. Sarah Foster is with Bankrate.com.
Inflation rose much faster than wages coming out of the pandemic, and even though wages are catching back up to prices, there's still a gap, which means for many Americans, their pay just doesn't go as far as it used to.
She adds, however, that gap between wages and inflation is shrinking. The Johnstown, Pennsylvania Police Department gave away 150 bicycles over the weekend. The bike giveaway happened at Roxbury Park. Cops also handed out free pizza and cold water. Johnstown Police Officer Chaz Cipher.
It's great. I mean, you could see the kids driving around, and I mean, they're out here, waiting in line, 80-degree weather to get their kid a bike, and everybody seemed really happy. It was a fantastic event.
I think we were there for like an hour and a half, but it's worth the wait because they're so happy.
And the Johnstown Police Department says it has extra bikes, too. For any child that might want one, all you got to do is ask. A fundraiser happened in Webster, New York over the weekend to honor the lives lost to heroin addiction. The 9th annual Lee Lucas Memorial Bike Ride raised money to fight opioid overdoses. It's sponsored every year by Dean Lucas, who lost his son Lee nearly a decade ago.
Raising the awareness and raising money to fight this, to give so that people can have a bed when they want to become clean, when they want to become, sober. But the bitterness is that it's not my son. I can do a lot, but I can't bring my son back.
I can't bring my son back. That sound courtesy of 13 Wham in Rochester. More than 150 motorcycles participated in this year's race. The event raising $50,000 to fight heroin addiction. A new survey shows the average American will scroll the equivalent of 86 miles a year on their smartphone. Experts warn that amount of digital distraction is costing the U.S. economy nearly $9 trillion a year in lost productivity. You and I will spend an average 6.5 hours a day staring at our phones. People on average will check their phones almost 60 times a day. Amazing. Sports next. It's the 2-minute drill right here on the Family Life Noon Report.
Good afternoon, I'm Randy Snavely. Bob, they played the Little League Classic in Williamsport yesterday, and the New York Mets took the rubber game of their series with the Seattle Mariners 7-3. Mark Vientos went 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run and 4 ribbies in the contest to lead the Amazons to their second straight victory. The Yankees completed a sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals with an 8-4 win. The Yanks have now won 4 of 5, while St. Louis has lost 5 in a row. The Phillies earned a split in their series with the Nationals. Alec Bohm belted a 3-run home run, and Nick Castellanos also went deep in the 11-9 slugfest. Some bad news for Philadelphia. Their ace, Zach Wheeler, has a blood clot around his neck and shoulder. Wheeler threw around 100 pitches in his last start on Friday and afterwards said he felt heaviness in his shoulder. There is no timeline for his return. In Chicago, Dansby Swanson lifted a sac fly in the 8th inning, and that broke a 3-3 tie with the Pirates. The Cubs won it 4-3. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, the Brewers' winning streak is over at 14 games. The Reds beat them in 10 innings, 3-2. Texas, Baltimore, the Royals, Twins, and Angels all won their games in the American League matchups. The Rockies and Dodgers were National League winners, and interleague action saw the Marlins, Braves, and Giants pick up wins. NFL preseason action saw the Jaguars and Saints tie their game at 17, and the Bears blew out Buffalo 38-0. In NASCAR, Austin Dillon is heading to the playoffs. The driver of the number 3 car held off Alex Bowman to take the checkered flag at Richmond Raceway. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric rounded out the top 5. That is a look at sports.
Thank you very much, Randy. Still to come on the Noon Report. Trump-Zelensky meet at the White House. Surfs up along the Carolina coast. And church leaves the building. How a local church is putting flesh on faith.
Welcome to Breakpoint, a daily look at an ever-changing culture through the lens of unchanging truth. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. In this world, you will have trouble. Those words, which Jesus said to his disciples, are actually true for all human beings at all times. But at certain times, like the last few months, they seem to be even more apt. The ongoing war in Ukraine, a hunger crisis in Gaza, last week's shooting at a Target store in Austin, which took 3 lives, including a grandfather and his granddaughter. These things only punctuate what has been a summer of suffering that began with devastating floods in Texas. We all shuddered at the reports of what those girls at Camp Mystic endured, and we all mourned the news that 27 campers had lost their lives. Tragedies expose our deepest beliefs about life in the world. Not only do they reveal what those beliefs are, they test whether or not those beliefs are big enough to sustain us. Skeptics often talk as if the problem of evil and suffering is only of concern for Christianity, but every single religion, every single worldview has to explain why the world is the way that it is. Naturalistic explanations of reality deny that God exists. The world is a product of purely material causes and processes. In this view, there's no way things ought to be. There's only the way things are. Therefore, what happened to those girls in Texas wasn't really evil. It's really just bad luck. Eastern religions, like Buddhism and Hinduism, as well as the New Age ideas that share the same basic worldview, deny the existence of real evil altogether. In this view, the physical world is an illusion. And if that's true, then the evil that inflicts the physical world has to be an illusion as well. Now that, of course, is more of a deflection than an explanation. Instead of asking, why do bad things happen, we're now asking, why do the illusions of bad things happen? According to postmodern ideologies, we cannot even access reality because we're all trapped within our own perspectives and experiences. But of course, even those who did not physically experience a particular evil can still know that it was bad. Critical theory, a more recent offspring of postmodernism's perspectivalism, reduces evil to oppression, places the blame on certain groups of people who do the oppressing. However, that's no explanation for natural disasters, nor can it explain the evil deeds that are done by members of so-called oppressed communities. The only worldview that's big enough to both explain the existence of evil and also to offer a way forward is Christianity. The Bible explains the human condition in all of its fullness. Created in God's image, humans have an incredible capacity to bring good into the world. However, we're fallen, and so we also have an incredible capacity to bring evil and suffering into the world. Of course, we will always wonder why a particular evil might happen, but our efforts to overcome evil with good will always matter because we are made in the image of the God who made the world and so loved it that he sent his only son. And so it's really true what Samwise Gamgee said to Mr. Frodo, there's good in the world, and it's worth fighting for. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet with Breakpoint.
Thank you very much, John. Outside we go, Kevin Williams.
Here is your family life weather forecast for the afternoon hours. Plenty of sunshine for most. A sun-cloud mix near and south of I-80 in Pennsylvania. Not as humid and cooler than recent days with high temperatures in the 70s. Pleasantly cool tonight. We drop into the 50s, clear to partly cloudy. Tomorrow, some sunshine, high temperatures, 70s to near 80. And then mostly cloudy on Wednesday. There'll be a few showers around. High temperatures on Wednesday in the 70s to near 80 degrees.
All right, Kevin, thank you. This is the Noon Report. I'm Bob Price. Lots going on Monday, the 18th of August. Twice elected State Treasurer Stacey Garrity is officially a candidate for governor of Pennsylvania. Political pundits say her announcement today on on X, will tee up what could be a competitive race next year against incumbent Democrat Josh Shapiro. Garrity says she's campaigning for the state's highest office because Shapiro, in her words, has failed Pennsylvania on critical issues ranging from energy production to education to job creation. The 61-year-old Garrity is a native of Athens, PA, and graduated from Sayre High School before becoming an Army officer. She's been the Commonwealth's top fiscal watchdog since 2021. Another critical meeting today for President Trump aimed at winding down the war between Russia and Ukraine. Correspondent Garrett Haake.
President Trump set to host Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House. Ukraine's president will be joined by the leaders of France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, hoping to present a united front in their efforts to end Russia's war against Ukraine.
Talks with Ukraine's president set to get underway soon at the White House. A Ukrainian sniper has broken the world record for the longest confirmed sniper kill. He eliminated 2 Russian troops last week from a distance of more than 13,000 feet. The fatal shot fired by a Ukrainian-produced rifle. It was aided by artificial intelligence and drone guidance. Hurricane Aaron is expected to double in size over the next couple of days, and that's bad news for folks who live along the Atlantic coast. While it's no threat to land, the storm could spawn potentially deadly rip currents on beaches from Florida to New England. Reporter Jesse Kirsch.
Aaron is expected to trek between the Atlantic's open waters between the mainland U.S. and Bermuda. And while the storm will likely stay over a couple hundred miles from the U.S., the impact on East Coast shores from those dangerous currents could still be deadly.
Philippe Papin at the National Hurricane Center in Miami.
Up and down the eastern seaboard, the biggest hazard with this system is likely going to be significant surf and rip currents, because we're expecting Aaron to become a very large hurricane as it starts to move off to the northwest and north-northwest over the next couple of days.
Aaron could spawn 20-foot waves in parts of the Carolinas. Gusty winds and flooding tides will wash out roads along the Outer Banks by midweek. More than 400 acts of hostility were committed against churches in this country last year. That's according to a new report by the Family Research Council. The Washington, D.C.-based group cites a sharp rise in gun-related violence at houses of worship. Gun-related violence at churches more than doubled last year from the year earlier. Multiple injuries reported after a driverless vehicle plowed into a crowd in Pittsburgh. It happened during a Black Arts Festival. KDKA's Erica Stanish.
Police say a man parked his car and got out, but the car wasn't in park and it slowly drifted into the crowd. 5 people went to the hospital, 3 in serious condition. The owner of the car stayed on scene and cooperated, and police say it appears to be purely accidental.
Some Republican-led states are stepping up and sending in more National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. The governors of Ohio, South Carolina, and West Virginia sending hundreds of soldiers to the nation's capital. President Trump recently activated the National Guard to address crime and homelessness in D.C. Hollywood mourning the loss of British actor Terence Stamp. His movie-making career spanned 6 decades. Stamp was best known for playing Superman's arch-nemesis, General Zod, in the 1970s and 80s.
Come to me, Superman, if you dare. I defy you. Come and kneel before Zod.
Stamp earned an Oscar nod for his role in the 1962 film Billy Budd. Terence Stamp was 87. 6 planets will be visible in the night sky through Wednesday, and all you have to do is look up. Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus are all aligned and can be seen about 45 minutes before sunset. Some of those planets will be visible to the naked eye, but binoculars will be needed for Neptune and Uranus. You're listening to the Noon Report, a Monday edition on Family Life. This is Mission Pulse on Family Life. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight ministries making a difference where you live, across the country, and around the world. This week, we're spotlighting Church Leaves the Building, coming up this Sunday, August 24th. It's an outreach program of the Beartown Road Alliance Church near Corning, New York. Our guest is Senior Pastor Dave Bretsch. Dave, if you would, while we get started, explain what it is, why you do this, and how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, so Church Leaves the Building is our annual day of service where we step outside the walls of our church building to be the hands and the feet of Jesus in our community. And so this year we'll have 19 sites. People sign up online, and then they go straight to that site. And on Sunday morning, typically from about 9 to noon, lots of people are serving, and it's been great. This will be our 4th year doing it.
Yeah, it's become a priority of the church, and I'm wondering why you have made that a priority.
We just thought, you know what, we want to be a blessing to our community. We just want to let the community know we care for them, we are for them, we're not against them. And we do it on Sunday simply because we know we'll get a lot more people than on a Saturday. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from people. You know, we serve everyone from the Corning Youth Center to the Corning Middle School. We serve breakfast at 2 fire stations. We work with Habitat for Humanity. We serve a couple of nursing homes. We help the homeless. We even split, haul, and stack wood for those who are in need of wood for the winter. So there's, like I said, 19 sites, and we also host a free car wash and school supply giveaway at the church building. So if people accidentally show up, they can at least get their car cleaned.
Gotcha. Now, we'll give the website at the end, but are you in need of more volunteers, or are you pretty set?
We do need more volunteers. We actually need a lot more. So if you go to the website, beartownroad.org, and click on events, you can sign up for any of those different sites.
Yeah, I know the car wash and the school supply giveaway is something you've been doing for a number of years with school just around the corner. But when it comes to some of those other volunteer projects, do you try to switch it up every year, or is it pretty much the same services that you offer for the 4 years that you've been doing this?
Yeah, a lot of the organizations, we've been doing this for all 4 years, like the Corning Youth Center, Habitat for Humanity. It's gone so well in the past, we just keep on coming back to serve them. And then there's like the Pantry of Angels, the local food pantry that we are quite involved with. And then there's some new ones. You know, there's a few new ones who we've never done before. So we have a team, we have a leadership team who gets together and just goes out and asks who's in need. And some of them are people we've done for years, and some of them will be the first time this year.
That's awesome. I'm sure the feedback has been nothing but positive. Can you share a little more about how this has been received in the greater Corning area in the 4 years that you've launched Church Leaves the Building?
Yeah, we've had school administrators, principals say thank you and are just super grateful for just making the school look better. We've had people who work for the town give us thank you notes and just let us know how grateful they are just because we made their playground look better, or we fixed picnic tables or baseball fields, whatever it might be. And then, you know, last year we served a meal at one of the local places, and it didn't go well. Not too many people showed up, and so we had all this leftover food, and we were able to give it to a lady who feeds the homeless every Sunday night. And so that really was a God thing, and she was just amazed and blessed by the opportunity to take the food and help some people out. So even when things don't always go as planned, God seems to use it for good anyway.
Yeah. I think of the commandment, love God, love people. And when you boil it down, it's pretty simple. What we're called to be here on this earth as Christians, as Christ followers, to be salt and light. How does Church Leave the Building enhance what you're trying to promote there at the Beartown Road Alliance Church?
Yeah, well, Jesus says, be the light of the world and let them see your good deeds. Right? And so it's a big deal. Timothy says, be rich in good deeds, be generous and willing to share. So that's who we are. We don't separate faith from good deeds. And so we just want to challenge our church. Let's not simply be people who believe, but let's put our faith into action. And just from the practical side, people need help. And we have a lot of people at the church who have lots of different skills, and we can go out and make a difference and help people. So it would be great if we could do it on a Saturday and continue to worship on a Sunday, because to me that's a big deal to worship every Sunday.
Yeah.
We just simply do this once a year so that we can get more people to serve, since most people already have Sunday mornings blocked off for worship, and we just take that one Sunday to head out and make a difference in the community.
All right. Do you have to be a member of the church to sign up, or can anybody sign up online and help out with some of these projects?
Anybody can sign up.
And what is the website, Dave?
BeartownRoad.org, and then click on events, and you'll see the church leaves the building, and then you just click on that and you sign up, and all the information will be there.
That is Dave Bretsch, Senior Pastor of the Beartown Road Alliance Church near Corning, New York. Church leaves the building happens Sunday, August 24th. And this has been Mission Pulse on Family Life. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight ministries making a difference where you live, across the country, and around the world. You can subscribe, listen to, and share all our Mission Pulse feature reports online anytime. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or FamilyLife.org.
Good afternoon. Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. There's been a change in air masses over us, and the result, we've gone from some summery weather to a little hint of early autumn following the passage of a cold front. For the afternoon hours, plenty of sunshine for most, a sun-cloud mix near and south of I-80 in Pennsylvania. Not as humid and cooler than recent days with high temperatures in the 70s. Pleasantly cool tonight, we drop into the 50s, clear to partly cloudy. Tomorrow, some sunshine, high temperatures, 70s to near 80, and then mostly cloudy on Wednesday. There'll be a few showers around, high temperatures on Wednesday in the 70s to near 80 degrees.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Finally at noon, bad poets of the world, rejoice. Today is your day. Family Life's Brian Query.
Roses are purple, violets are teal, anyone can write poetry, and today you can celebrate National Bad Poetry Day. Writing poetry isn't always about finding the perfect rhyme or balanced iambic pentameter. It's about expressing your thoughts and feelings through creative writing. How did such an unusually specific holiday get its start? Well, many sources point to native Pennsylvanians Thomas and Ruth Roy, who believed every day should be a holiday. Poetry has been recorded for thousands of years, with the earliest poems used to help people recall laws, oral histories, and ancestry. Maybe you're no T.S. Eliot or Walt Whitman, but celebrate today if you choose, whether happy or writing the blues. Words don't have to rhyme, but today's your best time. Brian Query, Family Life News.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. And just like that, we're out of time. That's our world, the world we live in, Monday, August 18th. I'm Bob Price, Family Life News.
You've been listening to the Noon Report, heard weekdays on Family Life. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.